There we go. I think we're going now. All right. So Psalm 22, 22:12. Many bulls surround me, strong ones of Bashan encircle me. And this Bashan thing has been coming up. I'm probably saying it wrong, but you can say it however you want. Bashan, maybe. So this is a region that's, I believe, controlled by Israel now. But this is a region that's kind of gone back and forth. And in the Bible, you could find this in Joshua 12. And King Og is described as a giant king of a giant race called the Rephaim, I believe it's pronounced. And interesting side note, I read an article years ago that they had discovered archaeologists had discovered six different I guess races of humans. Does it make sense? Like types of humanoids, maybe, or humans that have walked the earth. And I know that sounds really crazy, and this is probably gonna maybe ruffle some feathers. Um, but this is also in the Bible. Well, there's at least three in the Bible. There's us normal people, and there's the Rephaim, I believe it's called or pronounced, and there's also the Nephilim. There's three right there. So I don't know the mysteries of God, right? But we have been revealed some aspects of our reality through the world that we live in, and also through the Bible, aspects of God and the world we live in. And I think that's amazing that we can read this and learn from it. So in Psalm 22, the strong bulls of Bashan, David talks about, and Bashan is defined now as like fertile, plentiful, strong, and mighty. So in the Bible, and again, you can find these, it's in Amos, Micah, specifically Amos 4, Amos 2, Micah 7. So when I open my Bible, this is actually carryover from yesterday, what I've been thinking about. I just didn't do a video last night, but I opened my Bible to Micah 7, and it talks about Bashan and Gilead. And I was like, oh, well, I've heard that before in Psalm 22. Well, I was like, well, I don't know if this verse is really applicable to anything, because I like to just do, I don't know, Bible roulette, just open and see if I can connect it to something. So I flipped the page again, and that's when I ended up on Amos 2, and I was like, well, this is too weird to have this connection. I believe Bashan's mentioned like, I don't know, 50 or 100 times in the Old Testament. But I mean, the fact that I would turn to two pages like that where it says Bashan, I'm like, okay, I got to pay attention to this. And so I've read Psalm 22 a long time ago, and you might be familiar with this as the Jesus Psalm. And why it's called the Jesus Psalm is at the beginning, he says, my God, or Psalm 22:1, my God, why have you abandoned me? Why are you so far from my deliverance and from my words of groaning? This is also what Jesus said on the cross. And so I'm thinking about this, and, probably anybody watching this knows that I run, or I like to run. And so this year I've been running 5K a day. And I started that last year, and I got really sick in February. And so I stopped my 5K a day in February. And, once you kind of break your New Year's tradition or New Year's resolution, you can't just like restart it, right? Then it's not a New Year's resolution. It's like a February 23rd resolution or something. Anyways, so this year I was like, well, when the first hits, I'm going to try to do my um 5K day thing again every day, just consistently. And it's a low bar physically. a 5K is like for me, because I've been running for a number of years. It's like, yeah, that I could almost do this in my sleep, right? Be kind of weird running and sleeping, but you know what I'm saying. Like, it's physically, like, this is not a challenge for me, a 5K, but mentally on days like yesterday. So I've been at the Tacoma wedding show all weekend. I emceed the show, so I've been on my feet, and it's also like not only like a physical thing of being on my feet, but I also have to talk to a bunch of people. You know, it's kind of like a higher energy thing. Hey, it's 11:11 right now, by the way. And so I get home yesterday and it's raining. In fact, it's raining so hard I don't even want to unload the equipment from my van, because going the, 3 feet from the van to the garage is like, I don't know. I just don't want to get my equipment all wet before I have to put it away. And so I come inside and I'm like, hey, I want to eat real quick. And it's starting to get dark, but I knew that I hadn't done my 5K. And so there's a choice now. If I can physically run the 5K, but mentally I don't want to, what am I going to do? Nobody's watching me. I'm literally home alone. I ate a few eggs for dinner, and I'm like, man, I have to go running, right? Or I get to go. I get the opportunity to go running. And so I went running. Did my 5K because it was the right thing to do. And why I'm saying this is, and you can relate this, or please relate this to something in your life. It wasn't the physicality of it. It wasn't that I was challenging myself physically. It was that I was challenging myself mentally to go out in 40 something degree rain. And I usually run with my shirt off because it's more comfortable that way. But again, even going with that, I'm not going to die out there running. So physically, this isn't a dangerous thing. Mentally, I don't feel like I'm in like the kind of shape where I should be running with my shirt off. Like nobody's driving by me and like, oh man, that guy, looks like he works out. No, absolutely nobody's saying that. Instead, they're like, I've heard a few times while I'm running, people are like, put your shirt on. That I've heard that way more times. So this is like all a mental thing. Like I have to be able to like withstand, and I'm gonna make a kind of corny analogy, but again, turn this into something that you can relate to. I gotta withstand like the arrows that people are throwing at me, right? Like, I don't feel like I look great with my shirt off. I don't want to go running in 40 something degree weather. In fact, the coldest feeling that I can ever remember running was about 2 years ago. It was 43 degrees. It was either 42 or 43 degrees, and ice rain. It was like somebody was like throwing little ice cubes on me. And that was like the coldest I've ever ran in feeling, anyways. And the lowest I've actually ran in air temperature wise is 28 degrees. So I've ran in 28 degrees with no shirt on. And again, this is not, I feel like if I keep moving, then it's not physically a problem, right? Like I'm going to survive. And plus, I'm only running a couple miles. So, if I have to, crawl into somebody's house or something, go knock on somebody's door, like, hey, I'm freezing. But mentally, this is all a mental thing. Mentally, am I going to overcome this obstacle? And so now we're looking at Psalm 22, and David saying, Many bulls surround me, the strong ones of Bashan. These aren't just any bulls he's talking about. And this is David, the same guy that slayed Goliath and killed lions and bears with his bare hands. I mean, like, this is the same guy. And now he's talking about this. And so in his mind, whatever he wrote this for, and I'm not a Bible scholar, so I can't get too deep into this, but whatever he wrote this for, like, this was something that was like a big, he's saying here, like, this is it mentally like an impossible task. And Jesus echoed that. So I'm looking at people in the running community. I'm in a few running groups here on Facebook, and there's a guy named Truett Haynes, and he's 28 years old. I think he's 28 or 29, and his current, so he's the guy they call him the marathon jeans guy, or I don't know. He runs like world class races, like 100-mile races and marathons in jeans, and that's kind of like one of his like shticks, I guess. And his name is Truett Haynes, and his dad Cam Haynes is also an endurance athlete. In fact, he said that he tries to run a marathon length a day. So he runs about like 20 marathons, 26.2 miles. So we'll say 26 to 30 miles a day, which is honestly my goal. Like, I'm trying to get there. I would love to be able to run 26 miles every day. I don't think I can do that. I could definitely run 26 miles. Probably not every day, not at this point, but someday I'll get there. So this is a father and son, Cam Haynes, Truett Haynes. Well, now Truett Haynes, he set the world pull-up record. He already runs world-class marathons and wins them. With his marathon time is like 2:29, which is crazy. Like, that's 2 hours and 29 minutes of running pretty much like a deer, like a wild animal. Like, that's fast. I think the fastest marathon on record is like 2 hours. Maybe somebody broke 2 hours by like a couple seconds. So now he's trying out for the Olympic trials, for the 2028 Olympics. He's going to have to get his time from 2:29 to 2:16. So for the sake of this, let's just say that's 15 minutes, like a quarter of an hour, right? The how do I say this? The level of athleticism to go from, so my marathon is about just under 4 hours. We'll just say 4 hours, right? Which is like the gold standard for marathons. Like 4 hours is like good. Most people would say, like, if you're at a 4 hour marathon, you're a good hobbyist runner. Like, you're good. For me, that's just fine. Like, I'm good being an average marathon runner, right? As long as I'm in like I guess 4 hours is maybe the dividing point. Like, you're either in the top 50 or I don't want to say bottom 50, because I think it's awesome that people run no matter what and finish marathons. But so to get from 4 hours to 2:29 is crazy. I mean, even from 4 hours to 3:30 is crazy. A lot of people are going for 3:30 marathons now. That's kind of like, I think as more people get into running and the level of athleticism goes up, more people are like, hey, I want to, 4 hours used to be a good standard back in like 1980, but now I want to get down to 3:30. And so a lot of people are going for a 3:30 marathon. But I'm saying, for me, where I'm at, I might be able to do a 3:30 if somebody was like chasing me with a gun, but that's a big jump. And to go from that to 29 now, where Truett Haynes is. I mean, that's crazy. That's a huge jump. But to go from 229 to 216 is like, I mean, that last little bit. And so his, because he's big on social media. You can look him up. Truett Haynes, Truett Haynes. His like motto is or die trying. So he's, setting world records or die trying. And his thing is Olympic trials or die trying. So 216 or die trying. Cam Haynes is keep hammering is like his, you could even find, I think he has shirts and hats and all kinds of stuff. So Truett Haynes is saying, hey, I'm going to get in the Olympics or I'm going to die trying. And when I was thinking about this and the Bulls of Bashan and David and Jesus on the cross, who literally did die trying. And I'm looking at my own life and I'm like, man, I'm just trying to run like a 5K a day, right? That's nothing. And I had piano lessons today. And I know of changing, this is a big shift going from like Olympic times and Jesus dying on a cross to me taking piano lessons. But I think this is really how we have to relate these lessons. And I'm like, man, I feel dumb at these piano lessons. I mean, I've been pecking away on the piano for like 30 years, like since I was a little kid. Just, and I can play decently, I've played in church many times. But to learn the actual method of playing piano, it feels like mentally this is like a challenge for me. And like I just want to be like, I don't want to do this anymore. It doesn't feel good. I get all these bad thoughts like, why am I even doing this? But physically, it's not going to kill me to get better at this skill. It's literally all mental. And so what I want to die is the bad thinking, like the weak mind. The quitting mind is what David Goggins calls it. The quitting mind. And here's the deal, and I'm going to wrap this up. Try to do this under 20 minutes today. And here's the beauty of it. When you come out the other side, so after running a 5K in cold rain, it's only 3.1 miles. On the other side of that, I can get in my warm shower. I'm done with that moment. I usually gain more from those runs just being out there and thinking, and I'm not thinking about all this sucks or anything like that. I'm trying to think about how this is benefiting my mindset. It actually becomes an empowerment piece. The piano thing, I sat with my instructor today who's just in the New York Times. Like she's, I mean, come on. Like that's crazy. And I'm sitting with this woman who's like on the rise. Like I literally believe she's gonna be like way beyond like little old Puyallup, and I won't even be able to get a hold of her at some point. But it's like I have this opportunity to learn how to play piano from a master, and I also have the opportunity to learn how to overcome bad thinking from the master in the Bible. King David is a master. And in Psalm 23, here's where I want to end it. And this is where it gets really exciting for me and why I had to come on here and do this. Is the famous psalm, the Good Shepherd. I highly encourage you to read this. Just read Psalm 22 and 23, and it's just such a great resolve. It's like in Psalm 22, he's going through the fire. He's running the miles in the rain. He's suffering through trying to play piano music and feeling his ego dying, right? In this. But in Psalm 23, I'll just read this to you, and you guys probably know this, and I think that you should read this on your own. A Psalm of David is the subheading, the Good Shepherd, Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd. I have what I need. He lets me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He renews my life. He leads me along the right paths. For his name's sake, even when I go through the darkest valley, I fear no danger, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You guys realize the rod and the staff is discipline. It's the waypoints. It's the way that we come back to get on the right path. The bulls of Bashan, Psalm 22, Psalm 23. Check it out.